On September 3rd, 2013, 14-year-old Violet Liang was struck and killed by a Mack truck on the first day of school. The collision occurred during the morning as the truck turned onto Lamberton Boulevard near Keele Street and Finch Avenue West. Violet was struck as she was crossing the street on her way to school. This tragedy sparked a GTA-wide public awareness campaign calling on motorists to slow down, especially during the morning commute when youngsters are walking to school. Sadly, the issue quickly returned to the spotlight at the end of that same school year when, on July 16th, 7-year-old Georgia Walsh was fatally struck by a minivan at the intersection of Millwood Avenue and McRae Road in Toronto. Another child killed, and another family torn apart by careless driving. The Highway Traffic Act clearly states that drivers must stop at intersections with stop signs. But how many drivers do this? That is precisely the question this study sought to examine. The methodology was relatively simple. It employed a basic observational technique. An iPhone was positioned inside a home window ledge, facing an intersection in front of the house. A 12-minute video was recorded of the cars approaching the stop sign at the intersection just outside the house. 32 automobiles were observed over a period of approximately 12 minutes. The intersection is within a suburb of Newmarket, Ontario. The time of the recording was approximately 6 p.m. Only the cars approaching the intersection from a westerly direction were included in the study. The response of the 32 motorists to the stop sign were observed and then coded. The coding categories were slow and go, rolling stop, or full stop. The findings of the study are as follows. Of the 32 automobiles recorded in the study, the vast majority, almost 60%, performed a rolling stop. Frighteningly, the second most common response to the signed intersection is to simply slow down while proceeding through the intersection. Only 4 of the 32 motorists, 12.5%, came to a full stop before proceeding through the intersection. The most concerning aspects of this study's findings are the fact that we see a small minority of drivers coming to a full stop at a stop sign, and we have more than 1 in 4 cars that essentially drive straight on through the intersection. While these drivers may slow down, they essentially ignore the stop sign. It stands to reason that these are the drivers who are most likely to put pedestrians at risk. In terms of directions for further research, this study's findings could certainly be bolstered and reinforced by more extensive observation and data collection. It would be useful to extend the findings of this study by observing a variety of intersections at a variety of settings. For example, downtown, suburban areas, areas close to schools, etc., would all likely offer unique environments to be studied. Observing intersections at different times of day, morning rush hours, would surely offer a unique environment that deserves focused study. Observing the entire intersection, which would allow us to observe how factors such as other automobiles entering the intersection and motorist direction of travel might impact on motorist response to stop signs. In terms of study design, a small error in coding did impact on the study's findings. Unfortunately, with respect to the data collected in this study, the slow and go category is invariably understated, while the full stop category is overstated. This is because some drivers who seemed intent on driving straight through the intersection were forced to come to an abrupt, albeit full, stop when they encountered a car driving in the other direction. These drivers were nonetheless coded as full stops, even though they may have been some of the most dangerous drivers observed in this study. The findings of this study do indeed raise questions that warrant further examination. Clearly, many drivers are comfortable not coming to a complete stop at marked intersections. But why? It would be useful to both survey and interview a random sampling of motorists in order to learn more about why so many drivers fail to comply with Section 136 of the Highway Traffic Act. Is this because motorists are not aware of the law? Are they perhaps aware of the law but feel that their chances of getting caught are simply too remote to warrant compliance? Do motorists think that they are stopping when, in reality, they are only slowing down? Finally, it would be useful to survey and interview a random sampling of police officers to gain insight into their perspective on enforcing Section 136 of the Highway Traffic Act. Is this law particularly time-consuming or awkward to enforce? Are convictions difficult to obtain? Do time demands make enforcement of this particular law a low priority? Insights gained from both motorists and law enforcement agents may prove extremely useful in informing the policies and procedures that might have the best chance of making pedestrians in Ontario, especially those who may be young and vulnerable, safer when crossing intersections marked by a stop sign.